Hi, my name is Sara McBride. I just completed a PhD in English and Media Studies at Massey University, Wellington. I wrote a thesis entitled The Canterbury Tales, and this thesis examined insiders' lessons from the communication in Canterbury regarding earthquakes. I looked at the information that was provided to the public before the earthquakes to see how effective it was or it wasn't. And I did it from the perspective of someone who actually helped write those booklets. The lessons I learned were really powerful because they came from someone who actually participated in the creation of these documents. And the goal was that through this process I could help influence others like myself, other communication practitioners, to be better at their practice too. Doing a thesis expanded my worldview because when you work in a field like emergency management, you see the world very much from the space of how can we get people to prepare for emergencies, rather than asking other fundamental questions around why would people want to engage with you about emergencies and how we can be more successful in developing relationships with people outside of the echo chamber that we have created within the sector. So it definitely allowed me to step outside of that community that I had been so embedded in and so used to, and had used the language and the jargon and the acronyms, which there are many in civil defense and emergency management. And it allowed me to go, oh, this is how external people must view us. And that was a very powerful experience. I don't think any thesis is easy. It is definitely a journey. I think if it depends on what you want out of a thesis. If you're thinking that everyone is going to automatically think that you're smarter or better, or it's going to somehow fill some inadequacies you have in your own life, you're going to be sadly disappointed. A thesis is incredibly challenging, and it's challenging in ways that are really surprising. I remember going into it thinking, why is everyone whining about this? It's only 3 years of writing. How hard could it be? And being unpleasantly humbled on many occasions regarding how hard really in-depth questions and really meaningful research, how much it can't only affect the way you think about the world, but also who you are fundamentally as a person. Absolutely. I would actually do it again. I can say that now after a couple of months. It was absolutely worth it. And if you want to do a thesis, I would suggest 3 very simple things. Number 1, choose the right supervisors. I had an amazing supervisory team. They were phenomenal to me. Choose a topic that you're absolutely passionate about, because you're going to be reading up on it ad nauseum for 3+ years, so you better really, really, really love it. And third is project manage your work and make sure that you keep to timeframes. You think at the beginning you have forever. 3 to 4 years feels like an eternity, and I promise you it's not. So project managing from the very start and making time and priority for the thesis is fundamental in finishing a thesis. One of the things that Massey, it's so different from the other PhD experiences that I talked to PhDs from around New Zealand and from around the United States and Australia. I was provided a lot of assistance, whether it was from the librarians who made time for personal one-on-one sessions from the very beginning of the thesis to the middle of the thesis, to even helping me format my tables at the very end when I was really stressed, to having a writing tutor provided for me because I have a little bit of dyslexia, and I didn't know that until I started the thesis, which was a bit of a surprise, and having a writing tutor provided for me, and it helped give me the confidence to write academically. The support systems were phenomenal to finish the thesis, and the whole system at Massey is built to grow you as a student and as a researcher. Other systems that I've noticed and looked at, it's there to challenge you and knock you down to see if you're strong enough to hold up. But the difference is that Massey builds you up and grows you, and I think that that's a much healthier, it makes for much healthier and happier PhD students, and I certainly am very grateful for that approach at Massey. Well, I've already seen the benefits of doing a thesis in my practitioner work. Most recently, I've been working for GeoNet as their information manager, and I was the public information manager on duty for Kaikoura. And I applied the lessons I learned regarding relationships and empathy and compassion and comfort from a science agency immediately. People who might have experienced that and remember what GeoNet did, we did things like emergency cutes, where we tweeted out little pictures of kittens and puppies after a big shake to provide comfort and humor for people. We also engaged on a very personal level, and that was directly from the lessons of the thesis that I had picked up. So already it's changed me in my work process as a practitioner. I've been a practitioner, I've gone back to practice for the last 9 months, and right now I'm about ready to head back into research. I've just had the great honor of receiving a Mendenhall Fellowship at the United States Geological Survey. I'm originally from the United States, but I've lived in New Zealand 16 years, and I'm a New Zealand citizen as well. And it's a very exciting opportunity to look at communication regarding operational earthquake forecasting and earthquake early warning, but also I've been invited by the USGS to look at their communication strategy as a whole and to develop a research-based communication strategy based on both social science and the arts and humanities critical theory base. So yes, it's a very exciting opportunity and amazing to receive from a science agency. Well, I think what I would say is that to people out there who maybe wonder what they should do about earthquake preparedness or if it's worth their time, I would just say that you often don't prepare for yourself, but look at the room around you, look at the people that are next to you, people you care for most. You're actually preparing for them. You're not necessarily preparing just for yourself. If you're in the middle of an earthquake and it is a terrible event, a terrible earthquake, you want to be there to help the people that you love the most. And you can't do that as well if you're not ready for it and you're not prepared and you don't have the things, items, and training that you need to be the best you can during that quite stressful event. So that's what I would say about preparing and why it's so important. It's about the community that you love and your family. It's about helping them as well as helping yourself.